Hello, my name is Grant Bruner, and today we'll be discussing the Chinese Old Summer Palace. Known in Chinese as the Wanming Wan, or Gardens of Perfect Brightness, the Old Summer Palace and its gardens once spread over 800 acres, 5 miles northwest of Beijing, China. Constructed in the 18th and 19th centuries, the Old Summer Palace is actually a network of 3 gardens, footpaths, and lakes. In fact, much of the surface of the Old Summer Palace is water. The Old Summer Palace is a masterpiece of Chinese imperial garden and palace design. The palace was a combination of natural features such as rocks and waterways with pagodas and large Buddhist temples. This symbiotic relationship between built architecture and the natural world is incredibly important in traditional Chinese philosophy. What was most interesting to European visitors, however, was the Zhejianglu, literally the Western Mansions, a European-style palace on the north side of the grounds. This palace complex, designed by an Italian artist in the style of Louis XIV's Versailles, included an opulent waterworks system, as well as a labyrinth, all in a Baroque style. The Old Summer Palace was entirely reserved for the court of the Qing dynasty emperors. As the political center of the Qing Empire, the day-to-day life took place within the walls of this palace, which was entirely closed off to the ordinary citizenry. While the Forbidden City in nearby Beijing was a ceremonial center for Qing rulers, much of the important decisions were made behind the Old Summer Palace's walls. Unfortunately, the Old Summer Palace was largely destroyed in 1860 during the Second Opium War. Begun in 1856 over the seizing of the British ship the Arrow, the Second Opium War pitted China against British and French imperial forces in East Asia. In 1860, after the British had captured the symbolic capital of Beijing and the Old Summer Palace, the British leaders sent a peace expedition of 20 British and French officers to negotiate a truce with the remaining Qing forces under Prince Yi. However, after a misunderstanding between British and Chinese ambassadors, the Chinese detained and eventually executed the Allied negotiators. In response, on October 18th, the British commander Lord Elgin ordered the destruction of the Summer Palace. First, British and French soldiers stormed the palace, carrying off millions of dollars in precious art and Chinese artifacts. Then, the men sent to burning the property. It took over 4,000 men 3 days to destroy the entire gardens and palaces, which, according to one contemporaneous account, had ceased to exist by the 19th. The degradation of the Old Summer Palace site continued during the Republic and Cultural Revolutions periods of China, as locals stripped off architectural elements to decorate their homes and other large structures. Farmers also began to plow many of the outlying fields, tilling the remains of the formerly well-maintained gardens. Fortunately, the Old Summer Palace has maintained its place in the Chinese cultural memory. Now in the heart of urban Beijing, the gardens and ruins attract millions of visitors per year. Recovery and excavations in 2005 have also improved the conditions of the site by reducing water loss through an underwater reservoir. Yet the Old Summer Palace is still marred by the remembrance of British imperialism, which for many Chinese invokes a sense of outrage against their former inability to fight off incursions from former powers. In truth, the Old Summer Palace exposes the cruel irony of the destruction of cultural heritage. Far from being a problem limited to one religion, culture, or continent, willful destruction of art and architecture occurs all across the world. It is our job, as global citizens, to understand these past events and work to prevent them from occurring in the future. Thank you.